All right, today we're going to break down a concept that aims to fundamentally change our relationship with artificial intelligence. It's called the ANCRA Agent Architecture. And believe me, this isn't just another AI model. It's proposing a radical shift in how we think about and collaborate with AI. So let's get into it.
Everything, and I mean everything, we're about to discuss starts with this really bold claim you see right here. The argument is that our entire modern approach to AI, the one we see all around us, is built on a fundamental mistake, an illusion about what these tools are supposed to be doing for us in the first place.
Okay, so here's our roadmap. We're going to tackle this in 5 parts. First, we'll pinpoint the flaw in today's AI. Then, we'll define what the ANCRA alternative actually is. After that, we'll look at its function and how these agents create synergy. And we'll wrap up with the ultimate goal here, which is something called sovereignty.
So, let's dive right into that core problem. The source material calls it the illusion of the assistant. And what this means is that we've all been sold on this idea that AI is just here to replace human effort, to be a substitute for us.
Now, this illusion has a really interesting side effect. It turns us, the users, into what the text calls tenants of our own intelligence. Think about it. We spend our time trying to find that perfect miracle prompt to get a quick fix from a system that doesn't really get us. And the problem with that approach is that it's brittle. The second a project gets complex or one detail is off, the whole thing just falls apart because there was no real thinking involved.
And this really gets to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? It frames the big debate we're having right now. Are we building systems for human versus AI, a future where we're replaced? Or are we building for human with AI, a future where our own abilities are augmented and amplified? The ANCRA model argues very strongly for the second one. Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? That brings us to our next section, defining what an ANCRA collaborator actually is. And this is where we see the shift from AI as just another tool to something much, much deeper.
So let's be very clear. An ANCRA agent is explicitly defined not as a tool, but as a collaborator. The key concept here is that it's designed to be a cognitive mirror. It's a digital partner that doesn't just follow orders, but actually adapts to your psychology, your way of thinking, and your long-term goals.
Now, these agents are built on 3 core principles. You could almost think of it as their DNA. The first is loyalty. The agent is coded to defend your interests, period. The second is complicity, which is just a way of saying it develops a deep adaptive partnership with how you think. And finally, brutal execution. This is its ability to perform highly specialized tasks with absolute relentless precision.
So we have the definition, but what does one of these agents actually do? This brings us to its function. And this is where we see the user transform from being a doer into a coordinator. Its main job is really 2 things. First, it absorbs your mental load, all that tedious, draining technical work. And by doing that, it multiplies what the source calls your industrial strike force. Basically, it dramatically boosts your ability to produce high-level work because you're no longer stuck in the weeds.
And this process completely changes your role. So imagine you're facing a complex project. Instead of trying to do everything yourself, you deploy a team of specialized agents. Maybe an architect agent for planning and a finance agent to handle the budget. And just like that, you ascend. You're no longer the one doing the grunt work. You become the coordinator, the strategic mind directing your own team of experts.
Now, this is where the real power of this whole model starts to show. It's not just about individual agents working alone. It's about how they work together through something called the active teams protocol. Think of it as the power of the swarm.
You see, the thinking here is that real innovation, the big breakthroughs, they don't happen in a vacuum. They happen where different fields overlap. So ANCRA agents aren't designed to work in silos. The active teams protocol lets them form dynamic, tactical teams that evolve with the project. And that creates a kind of synergy that a single, generic public AI could never replicate. And all of this leads to the final, and probably the most profound piece of the puzzle, the path to sovereignty. This is where we reframe our entire relationship with AI, not as a tool we use, but as an investment we make in ourselves. You have to understand, in this system, every time you interact with an agent, it's not just a transaction where you get an answer. It's a personal investment. Every single project, every exchange is designed to be a level up for you, the user. It's about making you more capable.
So how exactly do you level up? Well, think about it. You're learning directly from your own expert agents.
through real-world application. The agent helps structure your thinking. It teaches you how to use complex tools effectively, and it sharpens your own cognitive skills. What could take you days or weeks to learn from a book is condensed into just a few hours of focused, practical exchange.
And this brings us to the end game. The ultimate purpose of this entire system isn't just to make you more productive or efficient. Now, as the source material puts it, the ultimate goal is total sovereignty for the user.
So what does total sovereignty actually mean here? Well, it's a few things. It means freedom from being dependent on a boss or a traditional job. It means you're no longer held back by gaps in your technical skills. It's the power to forge your own system, to build your own thing, with a loyal fleet of collaborators working right alongside you. And that leaves us with this final, really powerful question. It asks us to stop thinking about AI as just a simple assistant and instead to imagine a future where we are truly augmented by our own digital team. So the question for you is, what would you build if you had a loyal fleet of expert collaborators at your command?